Hey, what's up? This is Nick Walter from zappycode.com, and I'm sure you're itching to get started with this Android stuff, but before we can move on and do anything, we have to have the right tools on our computer to move forward. So if you have a Mac, you should have been watching the previous lecture. That taught you everything that you need, and assuming you did all that, you don't need this lecture at all. Go ahead and move on to the next one, and you can start making apps. But for all my Windows peeps out there, let's get started. Now we need two different things on our computer in order to make Android apps. The first one being this thing called the JDK, which allows us to run Java code on our computer. Remember, Java is the programming language that we use to make apps. You'll be taught all about it. Don't worry if that sounds intimidating. The next thing is you need something called Android Studio, and Android Studio is the program that allows you to actually go ahead and make apps. So you can say, you know, I want my app to have a button up here in the corner, and when you click on that, we'll do this Java code. We want it to change the background, and this Android Studio uses the JDK in order for all of this to happen. So those are the two core things you need in order to make Android apps. So first, let's work on getting that JDK. So open up any browser you want. I'm going to use Explorer. Maybe you've got Chrome, Firefox, whatever, and just search for JDK download. Okay? JDK download. And you should be looking for a website from Oracle. There it is. We'll click on that. And we want to use this JDK download button here. We don't want Java, NetBeans, remember JDK. And once this comes, it's going to ask, hey, will you go ahead and accept our agreement here? Yes, I have no idea what's in it, but we agree to it. And then it has all these different versions here, and we want one of these Windows ones, and if you're wondering, do I want x86, x64? Odds are you're 64. If you know specifically that you don't have a computer that runs x64, go ahead and get this x86, but if you're not sure, go ahead and do the 64. If you download the 64 and it doesn't work, well, that means you need the 86, so you can always go back and get that one. So let's go ahead and get the 64 one here. We'll click on that and you can see it has started downloading. So I'm going to go ahead and pause my video here. I assume that yours is downloading just like mine. And once our downloads are done, let's go ahead and move on with the rest of this lecture. So once your download has finished, let's go ahead and open up our download folder, and let's run this little exe file that we got from the Oracle website. So we're going to go ahead and say yes to that, and the rest of this JDK install is just like installing any other program on your computer. We're just going to hit next to everything. We're just doing very basic default installation here. So we'll wait for this guy to go. Ooh, follow that shiny thing. Then it says, is this where you want to put it? Yeah, sounds good to me. Ooh, Java runs on 3 billion devices. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. Like, through this course, you will learn the basics of Java programming, which is really great for making Android apps, but also you can do that for tons of other development. Now, to be honest, in my opinion, the most fun you can have with Java is doing it with Android. Some of the other stuff's kind of boring, I think personally, but it does open up a lot of opportunities for you. So our installation has finished. We don't want to do these next steps. We just want to go ahead and say close to this. And just like that, we have the JDK installed. Isn't that great? We got all of step one done. Now all we need is the Android Studio. So let's go back to our browser, and now we just want to, again, search for Android Studio. Okay? And we'll go ahead and click on this one. I'm proud of Bing getting all the right stuff. I'm a Google faithful, but good on them for getting these big keywords right. I'm sure they would, but I just like giving Bing a hard time. So let's go ahead and click on this big download for Android Studio button. There's all these terms that you're supposed to agree with. Yeah, I think this sounds good, so let's just go ahead and click download. And again, we've started another file download here. So I'm going to pause one more time, let mine download, let yours download, and once it's done, let's go ahead and move forward. So once that download has finished, let's go ahead and go to our downloads folder, and we're going to run this Android Studio installer. Okay? So we'll wait for this to open up. So far, so good. It says, yes, do you want to install this? We say, yes, we do. And here we go, we're going to say next. Yes, I want you to put all these things on here. Looks good. We'll hit next. I agree to all this stuff that I never read. This all looks good, good, good. And we're going to hit next. It's going to ask you now, when you make a custom Android simulator, so if we make an app and we want to test it on our computer, we'll actually start running a little Android device. So Typically I say just use the recommended thing. It's asking how much space do you want to dedicate to that, 2 gigabytes. If your computer is really bogged down and you don't think it can handle this 2 gigabytes, you might want to go custom and put it down lower to like only 1 gigabyte or 512 megabytes, or if you've got more space, maybe go higher, but just do the recommended. This is always something you can go back and change, so don't freak out if you don't think you're making the right choice right now. So we'll just do the default. We'll hold next on that. We'll hit the install button, and now about 1,000 different things start happening. So this is going to be a fairly long process, so once again we're going to stop the video while this installs on my computer and yours, and we'll move forward from there. So if your installation was anything like mine, that took forever, but once that's done, go ahead and hit next. It says that's all you need. We want to start Android Studio right now just to make sure that everything worked. So we hit that finish button, and we have some orange flashing down here, but we still don't know what has happened yet. Let's wait and see. Oh, we're so close, right? Like once we have this, literally we're ready to rock and roll here. So thanks for sticking around with me. Okay, I'm getting so impatient, I'm going to go down and touch the orange thing. Ah, good thing I did, because it needed some input from me. So it's asking, you know, have you had Android Studio installed? Do you want to use previous stuff? We've never had it installed before, so let's just go ahead and hit OK here. Okay, so now that we got that, it's starting up for the very first time. Woo-hoo. And it's saying, hey, do you want this to be able to use your networks and stuff? So you want to say yes, go ahead and please use these so we can download stuff. So we will allow access. And now it's going and checking for some updated stuff. So you'll notice with Android Studio there's always new versions of the Android SDK coming out. That's the software that actually runs on Android phones, and so sometimes it'll have to go and grab different pieces of information. So again, this is another point where we're going to have to pause the video because it's going to take a while for all this stuff to get downloaded, updated, and so I'll see you when all of this is finished. So my install finally finished. Now I did have one time it popped up, it said it couldn't install one part of it, some SDK thing. I hit retry and I think it worked, but if you ever have that issue, just hit retry a couple of times, see if that works. If it doesn't fix it, hit cancel, and eventually things will start working. Sometimes stuff from Android and Google is just down and you'll have to wait for it to be up a different time. But once that's all done, we go ahead and we hit finish here, and there we have it. Welcome to Android Studio. We can start making Android projects. Like, look at this, start a new Android Studio project. So cool that we got this all installed and finished. So congratulations on getting this far. Now we actually get to the fun stuff of making apps. So congratulations, and I'll see you in the next video.